is a techpreneur, a software engineer, in his own right, a data scientist. Redidata uses AI and data to make research faster, smarter, and even more accessible. Take it away, Sabelo. We're looking forward to this.
Right. Thank you, Cindy. I'm just gonna share my screen and please let me know once you can see my screen. All right. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, let me stop and reshare again. How about now?
Yes, we
Still
can.
multiple, but it's
Yes.
Okay, no.
There, I can see it.
Right. Thank you very much. So I'm just gonna, today we are focusing on the academic research tab, where it's mostly about a researcher simply using the app to start curating their own research. So, but because we need some prerequisites from the other side, I'm just gonna do a quick overview, 2 minutes overview of the previous session. So, firstly, this app is used for data collection and qualitative data analysis. So you come here, you put in your details about something, and then you put all the filters that you want, and then you search. When you search, then it scrapes data from Reddit and then gives you that database. With that database, you can then come and be able to do different kind of analysis, sentiment analysis, emotion detection, content analysis, word cloud, topic clustering, and toxic filtering. So this is the qualitative data analysis that you can do using the app that we covered in part one. Now, once you have all of this data and you've done all of your analysis on the data, you then come into the research hub, and here you can find also more things, so you can discover the communities that speak more about that topic. So we searched unemployment here, as you can see, and then we can see the different kinds of groups that speak about this topic. We can see the data sets, the sentiment, the topic, the engagement. We can see the different communities. We can see the trends that are happening in the topic. We can compare two different data sets to see if they have the same thing, they have the common things, or they have different things. You can be able to take some notes, and then you can also use AI to take some of those notes because it already knows the information or the data set. So today, with all of those analysis that you have done, you now start writing your own paper. So now we're gonna write our own paper. But before we write our own paper, besides just the data set, we also want different kinds of literatures that exist from previous authors that have created something. So I'm just gonna come here and say unemployment. And here I can filter by the type of paper publications I want. I can put the specific author if I want. I can put the different years, but I like for it to remain open. So I'm just gonna say unemployment and search the different kinds of literatures that are there that are specifically speaking about unemployment. So it's done, and I can see different kinds of literatures. I'm just gonna save this one to my library, save this one, save this one, and save this one to my library. So when you click read, it's supposed to take you to the original literature, and you can read it if you want. But for the purposes of this demo, I won't read any of these because I want to use the app for something. So now if I come to my library, I can see all the different kinds of papers that I have saved, and I've saved them mainly because of their topics, maybe also the years or the other. So now I'm going to summarize each and every paper here. So without even me going to read the paper and spending 2 hours or an hour reading the paper, I'll use the app Ready Data to AI summarize all of these papers so that I can be able to see what exactly are these papers speaking about, or if they even have the kind of information that I'm interested in. So I can see this was the purpose of the study. The methodology was not stated, but I can see this is the key findings that are there, and this is the relevance that is there. The limitations were not clearly stated. Others can state that were technological limitations, or we have limitations in terms of the research size that we came with. So now I can be able to view the different kind of summaries, and I can see this one, their key findings. It's about income, this one it's about unemployment rates. Now I know what these papers are about. And what I would like to do is I would like to compare all of these papers to try and find out, is there anything that is a common factor, and is there anything that is differentiating them, or they are all speaking about the same thing. So I come here and I click compare. Now I can see the main findings. The limitations were not stated. This is the year, this is the methodology. Others, they mentioned the methodology. For example, this one, they used a mixed proportional hazard framework. This one's they didn't mention that, so we can't take that. But at least I know these ones, they used a certain kind of methodology. And I can see these ones, they focused on two individuals who were skilled and unskilled as a sample. The others, this one's focused in Denmark as their sample. This one's, it's not stated. So now I can compare the kind of main findings, the limitations, if they're stated there, and now I can know where to focus for my own research. Now, common findings that are here, there was contradictory findings. This one says unemployment outflow, and then this one says cyclical unemployment. This one analyzes the relationship between the cyclical and the structural unemployment. This one focuses on higher tax costs. So this is the contradictions that are there in these papers, and I can click here to see which papers are speaking about those specific things. And then I have a literature map here. This one is just a map showing you the different kinds of keywords that are there, the authors, the timelines. I'm just gonna jump these ones because now I want to start writing my own research. So my research objective now that I want to write my paper is that I want to understand the factors that are contributing to unemployment in South Africa. And if, for example, my question is unemployment, I can use AI to enhance this research question so that it can be phrased in a more contextual way instead of just unemployment. So I use these AI suggestions, and these are the different kinds of suggestions that were there for me. I like them, so I'm gonna keep all of them, all 6 of them. I'm gonna keep this as my research questions for now, and I can remove them later on. The problem statement is that I want to find out factors leading to unemployment. And then I want to have a positive paradigm at the end of everything. And I want to focus on both qualitative data that gives me context, but I also want numbers. So I'll also focus on the quantitative part of it. So I'm going to say it's a mixed method. And then my study design is going to be cross-sectional. And then who's the study about? South African youth. I want to focus specifically on the youth, and then I'm gonna do random sampling because I don't know the people that I'm taking the data from online. And I'm going to use Reddit data, web scraping to collect most of my data, and then I'll use Reddit data for content analysis. Any ethical considerations, I'll put privacy only, and then I will save. So this information, I'm feeding it to the system because after this, the system must help me write my own paper. For example, after now, I have to come to the methodology, and based on my research design, the system must be able to generate me a methodology that it sees fit for me based on my research question, based on my research objectives. So I said I'm looking for qualitative research, I'm looking for social media. Now, based on that, it's given me a methodology. So for my qualitative research, this is what I can do. This is how I get the data for, and this might be the limitations that I must be aware of. So already before I even go through this route, I already know the kind of possible limitations that I may receive, and I can be able to come with solutions to address those. Now, same thing, qualitative, digital, quantitative, mixed methods. Now it's giving me all those kind of methodologies based on my research design. And now I can come here on my research gap. Based on those papers that we have, I can generate here to find out in my, let's say I choose qualitative methodology. Now, what research gaps are there in the papers that already exist? We have a population gap here. My study needs to focus in South Africa, but most of the papers that I received, they don't have a clear population that they are working on. So now I know there's a population gap. Then in my research, I know I need to focus on South Africa to address that population gap. Now, the theoretical gap that's there, I need to know how do I come up with my own framework, how do I come up with my own model that then takes the theories that exist out there and my theory as a researcher and try to close that gap. So now I've identified some of the few research gaps that are already out there from the papers that are out there. And now, based on this research gap and based on the methodologies that were recommended for me here, I'm going to build something that lets me gather all of that data besides just the ready data. So I can come here, I have different kinds of questions for my qualitative analysis. I want to build a questionnaire with at least 10 questions, and I'm trying to find factors that contribute to unemployment, and then I generate those. So now I want to go out there and use other forms of stuff such as questionnaires for me to receive that. So now I have the data. You can see that this question is open ended. This one, it's based on the multiple choice. So now I have 10 questions that I can be able to go today and start asking people. Those questions, they were built because the system already knows my research design. It knows the data that I have gathered. It knows the literature that I have gathered, and it knows the methodology I'm going for. So it's easy for it to generate that, and it can generate different kinds based on what I want. So, and then I can share that here using CSV, Word, and PDF. You can also share it as Google Form. It's just that it's not available yet, but immediately you can share it as a Google Form. And when the people fill in the data, you now can see it in your dashboard and you have all the answers. So yeah, because of time, I'm gonna stop here today. Cindy, I'm gonna give it back to you for any questions that may be there.
Of course,
Thank you.
this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. You have to join us next week to take us through what the data looks like. Because this is an unfamiliar feature. I've never heard of, my data just it's seamlessly coming through and I can see it's on the dashboard. This is absolutely impressive. We don't currently have a question, but we do have a comment on my t-shirt because it's a Methods Tree t-shirt. You guys can get it as well. Just you can request it from our email at ujmethodslive@gmail.com and we will see what we can do for you. But importantly, thank you so much for the time you've spent with us today. Are there any questions from the platform? There is one. Oh, they say the powers that be say you must attend an event and you get a t-shirt. If you're wondering what event I'm talking about, please go to our website, methodstree.com. You will see all our coming events, but largely right now we do have a writing space that is on a current running every Monday to Friday at 8:30 until 10:30. If you have marking to do, if you have writing to do for your thesis, if you need to gather your articles, upload them on Mendeley, join the space, you will find a community there that will help you sit with someone on a virtual space. Other people call it body doubling, other spaces call it a community. Here we say you're not alone. There is a community of researchers, academics, and students that are aspiring to join the same field. Until the next time we see each other, have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. See you next week. Bye-bye.